Dorit Kemsley reunited with Kyle Richards and Teddi Mellencamp. It appears all is well between the briefing on Bravo. After her highly publicized drama with Kyle Richards and Teddi Mellencamp, Dorit Kemsley reunited with her castmates for a fun-filled occasion. On Saturday, May 17, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills mom headed to Kyle's Encino home to celebrate the engagement of Alexia Umansky and Jake Zingerman. Kyle shared the special get-together in a May 18 Instagram photo in which she and her daughter Alexia posed beside Teddi, Dorit, and RHOBH alum Lisa Rinna. Our beautiful bride-to-be, Alexia, was feeling the love last night, Kyle captioned the snap. Also, someone here didn't know their jacket was on upside down. Dorit reflected on the event in the comments section, writing, "So happy to be there to celebrate the first of many beautiful moments for our stunning Alexia and her loved Jake. Such a fun night." Dorit Kemsley attends Alexia Umansky's engagement party. Fox Force 5 was a nickname given to Kyle, Dorit, Teddi, and Lisa's friendship group in RHOBH Season 9. The fifth member, Erica Jane, did not attend Alexia's engagement party but left a heart emoji under the group photo. "Missed you last night." Kyle responded to Erica's comment. After the party wrapped, Kyle posted a funny video of her and Teddi walking down the stairs in their sequin dresses and a pair of comfy sandals. "Who would you think that this would scare more than anybody in the world? Us wearing these shoes." Kyle asked Teddi before turning the camera to Dorit, "Can you believe we resorted to this?" Dorit was clearly amused by the footwear change and captured the moment with her phone. "Hey, we made it until 10 p.m. in our heels," Kyle wrote in the post. Kyle Richards and Dorit Kemsley's friendship drama. Dorit and Kyle's friendship issues were explored in RHOB Season 14 after Dorit accused her longtime bestie of trying to silence her ahead of the Season 13 reunion. The drama escalated when Kyle confirmed she was still texting Dorit's estranged husband, Paul PK Kemsley. Although Kyle insisted her communication with PK was lighthearted, the revelation led to several heated exchanges. The ladies eventually buried the hatchet at the Season 14 reunion and have remained on great terms ever since. "Dorit and I are good, I'm happy to say," Kyle said during an April briefing on Bravo's stream. "We worked things out during the season and then, of course, had to go over things again at the reunion, which is always tricky, but I'm happy to say we're in a better place." Dorit Kemsley and Teddi Mellencamp make amends. Dorit's rift with Kyle also affected her relationship with Teddi. In Season 14, Episode 4, Kyle questioned Dorit's loyalty to Teddi, claiming Dorit failed to defend their friend at BravoCon 2023. Dorit said she and the RHOB8 alum weren't as tight as many people assumed. "I'm not close with Teddi," Dorit told Kyle. Dorit clarified her comments on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills after show, saying she still considered Teddi a friend. "I wouldn't categorize Teddi and I as good friends. I didn't say that we weren't friends," she explained. "In fact, I didn't even know up until that point that Teddi was mad at me, until Kyle told me that she was sour about me not defending her at briefing on Bravo. I had no idea, so that was a shock to me." Dorit and Teddi took steps to repair their friendship earlier this year after the latter was diagnosed with brain tumors. Teddi shared the update in an interview with Briefing on Bravo, saying she and Dorit reconnected through their mutual pal Erica. "Erica kind of told me. She's like, 'Dorit does want to reach out to you now, can she?' And I'm like, 'I don't know how quick I'll be to forgive, but sure,'" Teddi recalled. "I definitely told Dorit I was disappointed, and I told her I filmed a pod this morning where I talked shit about you. But then her message was so nice that I have to say we'll probably be fine." Diamonds, heels, and healing. A Real Housewives reunion. It was the kind of spring day that Los Angeles liked to boast about. Sunlight filtered through the eucalyptus trees, the air was crisp yet warm, and the hills of Encino shimmered with anticipation. Kyle Richards' mansion stood like a crown jewel atop one of those hills, adorned with fresh hydrangeas, cascading fairy lights, and the unmistakable air of something significant in the making. Inside, the unmistakable hum of excited voices filled the grand foyer. Crystal champagne flutes clinked gently as guests arrived to celebrate Alexei Umansky's engagement to Jake Singerman. But beneath the clamor of wedding bells and the soft soundtrack of Etta James playing from hidden speakers, a quieter, more delicate reunion was also taking shape, one that hadn't been promised in any RSVP. Dorit Kemsley stood in front of the mirror in the downstairs powder room, adjusting her balming jacket, only she didn't realize it was on upside down. "Bloody hell," she murmured to herself, fidgeting with the oddly placed sleeves. The label inside taunted her, "Wrong way up." Still, she wasn't thinking about her fashion faux pas. Not really. She was thinking about Kyle and Teddi, and how strange it felt to walk into this home, Kyle's home, as though no cracks had ever appeared in the marble floors of their friendship. When she emerged into the living room, she was greeted by a sea of familiar faces. There was Lisa Rinna, effortlessly glamorous in a feathered jumpsuit, laughing with a couple of producers. Erica Jane had RSVP'd no, but had sent a bottle of vintage Dom with a note scribbled in her infamous cursive. To the OG girls, sparkle hard. X, but the energy shifted when Dorit saw Kyle. Kyle turned, already mid-laugh at something Alexia had said, her eyes catching Dorit's. The smile faltered just a fraction, like the half-second delay before a spotlight flicks on. But then it returned, warmer now, laced with nostalgia. "Dorit," Kyle said, her voice low but unmistakably sincere. She took a step forward, as though waiting to see if Dorit would meet her halfway. She did. They didn't hug immediately. Instead, they stood for a second, scanning each other's faces, not with judgment, but with something close to relief. "You wore it upside down," Kyle whispered, nudging Dorit's jacket. "You're bloody joking," Dorit replied, eyes widening. I knew something was off. They both burst out laughing, the kind that shakes loose a little of the tension that had built up over seasons and reunion specials and BravoCon side-eyes. "I'm really glad you came," Kyle added softly, her voice barely above the music. "I wouldn't have missed it," Dorit said. "For Alexia, and for us." Before Kyle could respond, Teddi Mellencamp appeared, a vision in a silver sequin dress and Birkenstock sandals. "Don't even look at my feet," Teddi said, holding up her hands defensively. "We made it until 10 p.m. in heels. That's practically a Bravo record." Kyle giggled. "I was just telling Dorit, we've evolved." Teddy's smile was tentative when it met Dorit's. "Hi." "Hi," Dorit echoed, her voice softer now. They stood in an uncertain triangle for a beat too long. Then Kyle grabbed Teddi's arm and tugged her toward the grand staircase. "Let's do the walk." "Oh God, the walk?" Teddi groaned, but she followed, and Dorit, surprised even by herself, followed too. Kyle pulled out her phone and started recording as the trio strutted down the stairs in their sequins and sandals, attempting to imitate a runway walk. "This is terrifying," Kyle said into the camera. Who would be most horrified by this footwear? They all turned in sync to stare at Dorit. She raised an eyebrow. "Hey, I captured this moment. I'm the official documentation department." The video was hilarious and oddly cathartic. A snapshot of three women no longer trying to outshine each other, but simply being messy, flawed, but present. Hours earlier, the car ride over had been a bundle of nerves for Dorit. PK hadn't come. Things were still complicated, too complicated for an event like this. She hadn't expected an invite, honestly, but when Kyle texted her, simply saying, "Let's start again," with a photo of Alexia's ring, Dorit said yes before she could talk herself out of it. Replaying that brief message on loop, she realized something. After everything, the season-long tension, the fallout from BravoCon, the misunderstanding about Teddi, she still wanted to be part of the sisterhood. Sure, the fights were dramatic, sometimes ugly, but the core of it, the bond, it was real. Meanwhile, upstairs in the dressing room, Teddi looked at her reflection and tried not to cry. She'd had a good cry earlier that morning, alone in her car after a follow-up appointment with her neurologist. She was stable, still clear, but the shadow of what she'd faced, the brain tumors, the surgeries, the fear, wasn't something she could shake off like a pair of uncomfortable stilettos.